Hola, amigos. Welcome back to another episode of The Talking Mexican. Hi, welcome back. As you can see, if you saw yesterday's post, I have rebuilt or put back the scenery that is behind me that I stripped away yesterday. The reason for stripping down the background and building it back up is to provide a visual demonstration of what we need to do to effect change in our own life. Tear down the old and build up the new. Now you may be saying to yourself, sounds good, Talking Mexican, but the background doesn't look any different than it did previously. Are you certain about that? Why don't you take another look? If you paid attention to the previous background arrangement in contrast with today's arrangement, you will definitely notice a change. The same is true with us. Sometimes the change is big, something everyone notices. Other times the change is subtle, a change only those who are closest to you notice. The important point to remember here about change is that we are making the change for ourselves. As long as we are aware of who we are now versus who we were then, that is all that matters. Everything else will fall into place. How are you doing with your goals? Have you written them down yet? What about your plan of action? Have you started working on that? Remember, you should have a POA or a plan of action for each individual goal. I actually have 5 goals that I am focused on at the moment. Those goals are to lose 20 pounds, book 1 paid speaking event of major significance, study the Bible, become spiritually stable and more prayerful, enroll into an educational program on a master's or a doctoral level that will allow me to continue my work of service to our Father through this platform and public speaking. I am sharing these goals with you in order to help keep me accountable. I am also believing in Jesus that you will also help keep me accountable as well. Although I have already taken some steps necessary to advance the completion of these goals, I still have much to do. The next step for me is to sit down with Jesus and discuss a plan of action moving forward for each individual goal. Let's set a deadline date on when those action plans need to be completed. January 29th will be that deadline date. Why the 29th? Because that was my last day on the job at WPX Energy in Tulsa, Oklahoma before being released from my contract. The 29th will be my rally cry, similar to Remember the Alamo, a reference to the 13-day siege launched on the Alamo mission near present-day San Antonio, Texas, by General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna, killing all the Texas defenders. To win the fight, we must first remember why we are fighting in the first place. How about a lesson on eating humble pie and forgiveness? Yesterday morning, I was blessed with an opportunity to assist someone who required my assistance. At the time this individual requested my assistance, I was in the process of rearranging my office, the Talking Mexican studio. It was an inconvenient time because I had furniture piled in front of the door and was right in the middle of moving a rather heavy dresser when the knock came at the door for my assistance. My first reaction was to make my ugh face, ugh for ugly, followed by, do you really have to go right now? That is what I was thinking in my noggin. What I really wanted to say at that moment was, can't you see how busy I am right now? However, before I could say the words, I was reminded of my commitment to be of service to God by serving others in need. In this instance, helping this individual who was in need. At that moment, I took a deep breath, stopped what I was doing, and grumbled and mumbled as I moved the furniture blocking the door to oblige my commitment to Jesus by serving him in the person of this individual. This morning, while preparing to begin my morning conversation with Jesus, I was reminded of how I had behaved the day previously. It was at that moment that Jesus blessed into my spirit the need to ask for forgiveness, not just from this individual, but from Jesus as well. Why? Because I behaved selfishly. I was thinking only of myself by how I reacted yesterday, and that caused this individual to feel that maybe he was a burden. That was never my intention, but did it, I did. After giving God all the glory for bringing this to my attention, I assured my Savior that this individual is in no way, shape, or form a burden. No, he is not. Jesus' intent was not to make me feel bad, which I did only because I felt remorse for how I had responded. Jesus wanted to bring me into awareness because to follow him means living by a different, more challenging, less welcome set of standards. In thinking of myself, I gave no consideration to how difficult and perhaps frustrating it is for this individual to have to ask for or rely on others for help. I can only empathize at what my father must be experiencing in his present condition in California, having to depend upon others for help. At that moment, after giving God the glory, as I said, I thanked Jesus for bringing this awareness into my soul and immediately put the steps in motion to make this right. First, I asked Jesus for his forgiveness and noted down what happened in order to hold myself accountable to better behavior moving forward. Next, I asked this individual for his forgiveness. This is an important lesson and reminder in humility, forgiveness, and what it means to say to Jesus, yes, I will follow you. I cannot follow Jesus on my own terms, but on his. To serve means to do just that, to serve without complaint or thought of myself. That doesn't mean letting people step all over me. It just means understanding what service through Jesus Christ truly means and the commitment involved in that service. Your attitude must be like my own, for I, the Messiah, did not come to be served, but to serve and to give my life. Matthew 20:28. Therein lies the true definition of service. Jesus just blessed into my soul what it is he will be teaching through me on the big stage. Service, and what that truly means. This is exciting. I can't wait to get started. Speaking of service, here is the link to a great article I read relative to service, written by Pastor Rick Warren, titled, "To Serve and to Give Should Define Your Life." I would like to recommend a book that everyone seeking change should read. I'm going to hold it up here. Hopefully you can see that. It was written by an amazing individual. His name is Tim Storey. As a future motivational and inspirational speaker, I look forward to one day meeting Tim for the purpose of developing a friendship, but more importantly, to receive the blessing of his mentorship. The name of the book I am referring to is titled, "It's Time for Your Comeback. Don't Take a Step Back with a Setback." I first came across the book at a coffee shop on a trip I had taken with Mr. Mann, thank you, Mr. Mann, to Branson, Missouri. Like one of those movies I can watch over and over again and never grow tired of, It's Time for Your Comeback is a book I read often. Each time I do, like the Bible, I discover something new that I did not read during the previous reading. That is how you know you are reading something blessed or presented to you by God. I won't tell you anything further about the book because it is something you have to read for yourself, but I will share this quote with you from Tim. It does not matter how big a mess your life may be, don't take a step back because God has already prepared your comeback. And that is exactly what God is doing for me as well. Thank you, Father. Tim's book is still available through Amazon if you would like to purchase a copy. Best investment you will ever make for yourself. Well, that's it for today's show. Thank you for allowing me to share this time with you. Don't forget to write down your goals and create your plan of action. And as always, give God all the glory. Pray for peace, love one another, and have an amazingly awesome today. Adios.